to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. This is where we answer all of your questions about puppyhood. I'm Bethany.
And I'm Sparky from the Puppy Academy. We're excited you're here. And now, let's get to the show.
Hello, welcome everyone. Whoa.
Welcome.
Where are you going, Lily?
She doesn't like loud voices.
Sorry, this is Lily.
If you see her ears, they're radars. She can't take the loud noises.
I think we had her like a little while ago.
Ago.
Yeah. Oh, can you calm down? Can you shh, no yelling. It's gonna be hard for you.
She likes me.
She knows you. I know. I think that might be true. She doesn't know me. Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show, episode number 182. Welcome back from the holidays. I'm sure you all have stories.
First show of 2025.
Yes. And we just want to remind you that you can submit questions through our direct message. Just make sure that you include the age and breed of your puppy. And we do like to prioritize the people who show up for us live on here. And so just keep that in mind.
We like the back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you jump in with one of the questions?
I'm an easy one. All right, okay. This is, hi, how can I help? Hi, can I have... How can I help?
I have to remind him to sit up.
I love to lean. I just love to bend, be all crunched up. You're going to save my back though, Bethany. Please do. All right. Hi. How can I help a 10-week Chai gain confidence?
A what?
CHI. Chihuahua, probably?
Yeah, maybe Chihuahua gain confidence.
It's CHI, so I assume it's Chihuahua, and Chihuahuas tend to be a little bit more nervous. And learn to be alone. He's pretty timid. So how to gain confidence? First thing I want to ask is, have you started doing any kind of like structure schedule? Maybe not even necessarily with the crate, but even like a playpen. Because when I start getting dogs used to being alone, I want them to do that while I'm still home with them. So I want to be able to have a crate in the bedroom, like the master bedroom. I want to be in the living room, and I want to get them on a schedule where they spend some time in the crate, some time out of the crate. But the big thing to do is when you bring the dog out of the crate, it's not just freedom to roam around. You actually have to give your dog structure. And it's the structure. It's the controlled walk. It's the controlled play, like the productive play because you're doing fetch, tug, and drop. Mm-hmm. You're doing training, come, sit, down, stay, heel. It's that builds the confidence. Yeah. The crate helps your dog learn to be alone, but it's the commands that builds the confidence to be okay with being alone eventually.
And honestly, it's the boundaries. It's the same for people and kids. We are more confident when we know what the boundaries are. That doesn't mean we don't step outside of the boundaries and see what happens.
We like the test.
But that really is what builds the context and the confidence for the puppy. Along with what he said, I would just on top of that, I have a really great video. It's so old. It's when I first started training.
What color was your hair?
It's
that's the
It
tell.
Was still red. Okay, I've been red for a long time. Thank you. See, look at the roots. They're red. Don't look at the roots. Never mind. It was this young dog. It was like a 1-year-old Cocker Spaniel that was nervous going outside the door. And then when she was outside the door, she'd start to pull. And, they were trying to do food lure and all this stuff and coax the dog outside the door. And she'd put the brakes on, and on a harness, they can really dig in. And what I did was I did a harness and slip lead combo. I got rid of the food. It was about a 1-year-old Cocker Spaniel. And instead, I opened the door on a loose leash and just made sure there was no tension on the leash, and she was ready to brace right away. And I stepped in front of her and made her sit. And she was so weirded out by that. Mm-hmm. She was really weirded out by that. And I closed it. She didn't even try to go out the door. I just opened it, and she's I can see her body stiffening, getting ready to brace and be drug out. And instead, loose leash stepped in front of her, had her sit. And she was really hesitant to sit too. I had to loosen up the hips a bit and help her get into position. And then I closed the door, did a little circle, gave her a little doggy massage, like you see me doing this dog. Opened the door. We did it again. We did that about 3 times. And then I was like, let's go, and went outside. And when we did it, probably the 5th time, she tried to go out the door. And the owners were shocked that I still stopped her and had her sit. And it was so interesting. This was again like 20 years ago where I was like, hey, this stuff really works.
You're still learning partially.
Like, thank goodness the stuff that I'm telling people to do, it actually works in real time. Applying the rules, me taking control of the threshold. I mean, and I did have to do it in baby steps, but that's what built confidence in following me outside. And then she was already 10 times better outside. And then we had to deal with the stairs and we did the same thing again. And so anyway, my point is just that anything you can think of during the day, waiting in crate for permission to come out using the crate door or a playpen door or sitting before you pick them up if it's a Chihuahua or Papillon.
And now we got to reference the one part she said where if the dog did make a mistake, she's still correcting that mistake, like why she still stepped in.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to run into as well. You're going to take this advice and hopefully you're going to run with it, build some confidence, and then you're going to get some boundary pushing, just like she mentioned. Yeah. And it's going to come out of far left field. You still want to reinforce those boundaries because as you reinforce those boundaries, that's when she's truly making that connection with you.
The only thing that's different is the energy in which you use to help the dog. So if this little Papillon that's a little nervous of me, if I was to take her home, if she was my new dog, and she jumped up on me, I would just gently bump her off for the first few days. Like, I would just very gently, just like, hey, no, settle down, because she's probably doing that out of anxiety, you know, and so I still want to kind of say no and not feed into it, but I would just be like a gentle no, and we would do food work and things like that. But if she was like a German short-haired pointer, 12 weeks old, what I happen to have right now, coming at me like with all the energy and focus and drive and then nipping at my sweaters and things like that, I'm going to be a little bit firmer. And so the energy changes depending on what you're getting. But honestly, it's pretty close. It's pretty similar for all the situations. Mm-hmm. All right. We've spent forever on that. We should probably move on.
Ooh, I like this one. It's quick.
Okay.
My 7-month GD, I'm going to assume Great Dane, hates going outside in the cold. I would too. They got no body fat.
Yeah.
Put a coat on, get some shoes, get some little booties, and have them wear them not only when it goes outside, have them wear them inside the house too, and just counter condition with food to get them used to them. They hate the booties in the beginning.
Yeah. Same with dobies. People don't realize dobies are crazy sensitive to cold.
Yeah.
Ricky, will you take the little Papillon? She's calmed down, and so now is a good time for me to hand her over because I've been giving her a massage, and she's not shaky anymore. There you go. Because when we started talking, he said that she gets a little nervous with loud talking, and she doesn't know me. I could tell she was gravitating to him, but he won't hold the puppies hardly, unless I'm not here.
I hold the puppies.
Hardly ever.
When they love me.
And anyway, just a slow, not babying her, not coddling her, but like a slow massage, like zened her right out, which was really nice. Okay. We had a video, how to stop a 10-week-old puppy from barking in the crate during the day. And we got a lot of feedback on that. So I'm going to try to go over some of the questions on that. What do you do if the puppy barks when you leave the house and they're in crate? He does fine in his crate when I'm home. He sleeps at night. He doesn't like it when I leave the house. I would say try to make it to where your puppy doesn't really know if you're home or not. And I know that's hard to do depending on where you live, but I would have the puppy in not only my room or a room, but away from where the door is. So like if the door is here, the bed is here, instead of having your puppy on this side of the bed, opposite side of the room. A walk-in closet is also a really good scenario for a puppy. And play a white noise machine on the inside of the door. And if you need to go that extra step, play a radio as well, like talk radio or something. You don't need like smooth jazz necessarily. Sometimes just having people speaking is really helpful.
I would start with the talk radio just at a lower volume and see how that works. And you might have to amp up the volume a little bit just to draw the dog's attention away from you leaving and it hearing some noises at least.
And even with so I have a 17-month-old little girl. When I go out the front door, it creates an air shift. And she sometimes can tell for the front door in her room. Something happens and she can tell. Dogs are the same way. So when I leave the house, I'm like closing the door so slowly and opening it slowly to prevent that air pocket from making noise with all the doors in the house. And so my point is like try to sneak out, and then at the end of the day, it's going to bark. As long as your dog's not trying to escape and they're barking for 10, 15, 20 minutes and then settling down, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I could go about 10 more things. We're going to leave it at that.
Let's see.
Let's see one from TikTok.
Our cry. Oh, you've already got one?
I do.
Okay.
I got a bunch.
I think I've got one too, but go ahead.
That's the good one from Instagram.
Okay.
Oh, I love this. For
Chris will get
Bradley
you.
Kaplan, we just answered your question through this last one. It was, my dog has bad anxiety whenever we try to leave the house. Any advice on how to help this?
Yeah.
Same advice as that one.
And then no petting or softness or excitement, 15 minutes to 20 minutes before you put them in crate and after. You can take them out to potty, but you need to be all business. You can do some training, but it's all business. You're not sharing any emotion. Okay. Calm Chris. Calm Chrissy? Chris is crisis. I didn't want to say crisis. Calm.
It's a calm crisis.
Cool.
I like calm crisis.
I've heard that you want to focus on bonding with new puppies. How old should I start correcting puppies? The moment they need it, the second they need it. And so what do I mean by that? Bonding on puppies bonding is not sharing affection. In fact, that should be like the last part of bonding, not the first part. So if you're like holding your puppy all the way home from the breeder.
That's not how dogs bond. That's how humans bond. So it's different for how a dog is going to bond with another animal.
It's how you bond with babies, but not kids.
I don't know.
You know, and the reason I mention that is because I just had this conversation with someone who was like, oh, my parents treat my Doberman like a kid. And I said, really, a kid? Guidance, structure, boundaries, rewards. No, like a baby, an infant, a baby. And so there's a difference. That's the reason I went on that.
That's a pretty good reference.
That's the reason I went on that bunny trail. But anyway, how you want to bond is you want your dog to see you as someone that they can trust, not just to give them a belly rub and show their belly, but someone they can trust to lead them down a windy street, lead them down a dark alley, you know, if I'm comparing it to like people, you know.
Advocate for their space around other dogs.
Yeah. And be a leader and be in control and teach boundaries and structure and limitations and confidence and then love. So what I would say is play and hand feeding are your two key things for teaching those things. But when I say teach boundaries, I mean the moment my puppy jumps up on me really intensely, like demanding affection, or the cute little paw, you know, thing, which they don't really do. It's 8 weeks old, but they do within a week or two because they've already been conditioned to do.
The paw on your arm. Love me, please.
If that's always fed into, the dog is being put into a position to behave badly because you're giving into a lot of permissiveness and they're giving you a command and you're feeding into their emotion 24/7. It's like trying to tell a 12-year-old with a smartphone to stop checking their text messages and social media constantly.
And that's what rules their whole life.
It doesn't work. The smartphone's just got to go. They don't have that impulse control yet. And so my point is you will create that addiction if you don't have rules and boundaries and that type of pushy emotional behavior. I'm not saying never, but sometimes you need to be like, no, not right now, you know, and make sure you're not holding your puppies at the wrong time when they're nervous or excited, things like that. You're not coddling them. You're leading them, working them, guiding them. And then when they show improvement, then you're petting, massaging, or playing fetch or something like that. And so it's really not about what not to do or when can I do it. It's about the emotion your dog is giving you and what you're rewarding. So kind of go along this mindset. From the moment you get your puppy, you get what you pet. Now there are some exceptions to that, but in general, it's a good rule to follow. It's a good rule to follow. So if you're getting anxious nervousness and you pet it, they are going to become needy and dependent on that rather than learning confident coping skills. If you pet excitement, they coming up to you, they jump on you, they put a paw on you, and you pet them, that's what they're going to see the world as, see you as, and then it makes it very hard to influence other behavior. And so when we say correcting puppies, we're not throwing them on a leash and correcting an 8-week-old puppy. We are, in fact, I don't even necessarily consider it correcting, but it is to a certain degree. It's
if you
body
look at
language.
the base of it, it is a correction, but it's so soft and so gentle.
It's just like, no,
that,
it's communication.
That is what we're talking about.
It's communication. It's body language. It's like, no, cut it out.
Dog jumps up, no,
yeah, off. Not right now. You know, dog tries to fly out a crate, shut crate door. And sometimes the 8-week-old puppies, they do that right away. Sometimes they're very casual. They're sleeping for a week before you even need to do the spatial pressure. They're flying out your back door. You need to use the door and your body to block and slow the brain down right away.
These are your boundaries. You set them now, and it's a lot easier to reinforce them later. You set them later, and you have a battle.
Yeah, exactly, a battle. You could have a 12-week, 13-week-old puppy battling you. I just did out at the park, who was literally jumping up and grabbing. So yeah, that was a battle.
I had one of those yesterday.
And honestly, she was only spoiled for about a week. So it's a combination of that first week with a very, very driven, excited, high energy puppy.
What kind of dog was it? What was the breed?
German Shorthair Pointer.
Oh!
But not an anxious one.
A motivated, driven one.
Motivated.
That's gonna be a little.
Yeah, without anxiety. She's amazing, but man, you'd be tough.
So it means that Bethany was the prey until she became no longer the prey. I saw those when you walked in. I was gonna ask you about those.
Her teeth are some of the sharpest I've seen, and I've been working with her for 2 weeks. What's my point? Like, these things happen, but how I handle them is what really makes our relationship
And this
matter.
is a professional dog trainer who still got nipped at by this puppy while working her at the park. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you get nipped at, as long as you're making progress, that's what's most important.
How should I handle her first vet visit? Honestly, I would see if they'll do it like COVID, if it's busy. If I walk in there and there's 2 dogs and people everywhere, I'm going to turn around and walk out and put my puppy back in the crate in the car. And then I'm going to go to the desk and be like, can we do this like COVID? Can you come out and get me? Or do you have a quiet room I can go into? Like, do not expose your puppy to all the crazy.
And most of the vets around here are pretty good with that. I know Modern Animal does, and I know Family Pet Clinic
If you're
does.
local.
If you're local.
Yeah.
We have our podcast or earlier video on what to expect with your first vet's visit.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have that too.
Is that easy to find though?
Yeah, think about it.
We also have
YouTube,
our podcast episode. I believe it was one of our very first ones that talks about all the different things to expect on a first vet visit. We had a vet in here to talk to.
Oh yeah, on the YouTube. Okay.
We do so many videos, guys. We actually do forget about all of them. We do.
And take treats with you. And if they don't take treats, put the treats away and just sit with them. Just be with them. It's like my husband when he tries to fix everything, and I'm like, can you just listen and just be there, please? Don't try to fix everything. When they are losing their mind with anxiety and nervousness, just be with them.
Ooh, Bethany, you're going to love this one. This is from Allie Horde. My 3-month-old German Shepherd mix bites really hard when playing and I'm not sure how to correct. Thank you for the breed and thank you for the age.
Yes.
That helps tremendously.
German Shepherd. You know what German Shepherds are meant to do, right? Yeah, at least it's not a Malinois. But for all we know, it could be mixed with a Malinois.
Have you tried adding in some training between play? So if I do fetch or I do tug.
Oh, it's during play?
I think that's what she said. That's what oh shoot, it closed.
You have it, you closed it.
When playing. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
when playing. So it's probably drive. The drive is probably increasing, kind of getting ahead of you and getting you're losing control of it. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing tug with my dog, I'm playing tug, we're really enjoying it, and I start seeing the energy go up a little bit. That's kind of when I'm starting to slow down, and then I do where I really tug my arms in. I hold them tight against my ribs, so I'm not pulling. I don't want to pull at her teeth. I want to brace and hold still. After a few seconds, most dogs will kind of slowly start pulling their mouth away from the toy. That's your moment for training. When they let it go, then it's sit, and if they're sitting there shaking with anticipation, I might hold it for a second. I might even do come sit, come play, sit down, come sit. Now they're starting to settle, shake less, and give you better focus. Good. Break. And the toy is my reward. The toy is my drive. The toy is my reward. And then I can do commands in between each routine. If I'm doing fetch, it's the same thing. I throw my toy. My dog's on a long lead, so I have control over where they're going and what they're doing. When they bring back the toy, it's the same thing. I get my drop. They release it. I get my sit, my down. I pause, making sure that they're not ready with anticipation to go. And when they settle, good. and then I'll throw and say fetch. So I'm actually waiting for calm between the play. That's what I would do personally. What do you got for him?
Well, I have just a couple of other
You want to see the question again?
No, little things to think about. I would stop throwing the toy. I would just work on break and out or break and drop it. And then just give it back to them. Tug, 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 out. Make sure when you're tugging that, or even when you're just like tossing the ball not tossing, I guess it is just tug. You're not above their spine, because if you're above their spine, they're going to jump up to get it and you're building drive. So be low, sit on a stool or something like that. Maybe not I probably wouldn't sit on the ground with a 5-month-old GSD, but I would have the dog on leash and I would have a toy big enough to where I can grab it on both sides and they got plenty of room in the middle. And then if they do go for my hand, now I'm not doing this with my 13-week-old GSP that keeps nailing me, but a 5-month-old, and I'm being calm. I'm not like, I'm not being crazy, amping up the energy. I'm doing all the things that he said and what I said, and I'm not adding a lot to it. 5-month-old, and they keep going after my hand. I'm going to grab the leash and do pressure up, calm down, relax, break. And then maybe there's a window of time where I just say break and toss it, but I'm not throwing it. Okay. I'm not building drive that way. By the end of 10, 15, 20 minutes, I am not throwing it more than a few feet. Like that's what I'm building up to, not running across the yard, building tons of stamina. So keep those things in mind. I would also suggest that maybe you look up fetch for sport dog trainers, because sport dog trainers do teach it with the paws. That way you can see a video of it. You can also join our online school, and not only will you see a video of how to do it, but about a million other things to help with nipping, biting, and calmness. Okay, I have a question. I actually have two questions. One of them is really quick. I'm getting a Shiba Inu. How do I deal with these more primitive breeds? I would say even from a puppy standpoint, you are going to be more in a give and take relationship than you are with like a golden retriever where it's like, I'm just in charge all the time. Sometimes Shibas don't let you do that. There's a person, it's called Etsu and me, ETSU and me. She's like the epitome Shiba Inu person. That's someone you might want to consider following. Even though there's not going to be a ton of puppy stuff, there's going to be tons of Shiba stuff. You want to try to build food drive right away. Her taking food from you. She's probably not going to do it from anybody else. It's only going to be who she has a relationship with. But really try to build that food drive and get this dog on a loose, not super loose, but like a collar right away and have that dog, as soon as there's a little bit of comfortability in the body language, that might be a day, it might be a couple of days, being home, put that puppy on a leash, dragging a thin 3/8 of an inch leash around and practice harness all the time. One of the biggest issues with this breed is they don't like anything touching them.
They freeze.
They hate, like you just put if I put a collar on a 11-week-old Shiba Inu that's never had a collar on before and there's no leash attached, they'll just freeze and be grudgy and I'll touch them and they're like, don't touch me. Something is touching me.
And if you pick them up, they do this. Yes. And they flail every limb out straight.
Oh my gosh. So
they're a very special breed.
There's definitely some differences with Shibas and Jindos. Definitely. That's unlike anything else.
Yeah, Jindo.
Unlike anything else. Shiba and Jindos, I feel like there are so many differences. And so, you do have to keep that in mind. Some of our advice doesn't always work. So I would strongly suggest, especially if you live in the SoCal area, to do our puppy program so you get all your foundation work and then maybe reach out to Etsu and me. I had another one.
Let me go through mine really quick. It's a quick one.
No, mine.
Angie, I have an 8-month-old Australian Shepherd and he hasn't hiked his leg yet. Is that natural or trained? It's natural, but it could be trained. If you have other dogs in the neighborhood that are male dogs that go up to a tree, let them pee on a tree and you're just kind of walking behind following. Walk him up to the same tree. He'll probably circle a few times trying to smell it. And then eventually he'll kind of walk up the side of the tree and start lifting his leg. I personally don't recommend training it because dogs that hike the leg, they tend to mark a lot more often, which makes your walks a little bit harder and you tend to get curtains inside your home marked. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's okay for male dogs not to let them.
Yeah, if I have a male dog that squats on like Get it, bud.
Yeah, it's
Get
totally
it.
fine. I mean, they might hit a front leg, but then when they start peeing on trees, it all sprays back on them anyway. So.
Yep. Oh, we had a dog that peed on his own chin. That was his thing. He had a strong stream.
I think this is important for, because we're dealing with fires while the rest of the world is freezing to death. So Haley says, please help. My 8-week-old Maltipoo puppy is refusing to potty outside because of the temperatures. Shivering, whimpers, comes in, pees inside. I've been taking her out every 15 to 20 minutes. I don't think you need to take her out that often. That's not going to make a difference. Maybe if she's free roaming, which she shouldn't be. If she is, please join our online program and get some feedback on it.
An 8-week-old puppy, though, I mean, the world for an 8-week-old Maltipoo is very large. That is a very tiny dog going to a very large environment. So maybe try to control the environment a little bit for it. Is there a part of your yard that you can like cordon off with a playpen and then put her inside of it and kind of keep her off to the side? Are you going to the middle of the grass? That's kind of where my brain goes. Are we on a schedule?
Well, that's the thing. It's if it's freezing, if there's ice, snow.
Well, it says 65 degrees.
Or if I know, but maybe is that
it's 65
is it
degrees
Celsius?
outside.
I don't know. Maybe they're from Canada.
No, it's
Celsius
65 degrees.
Colder. I have no idea.
I think it's a 8-week-old Maltipoo that doesn't want to go out in the cold.
65 is probably
65
200 degrees. It'd be 200 degrees. Okay, my bad. This is.
I feel good. I finally got one.
The Americans. Okay, so no matter where you are, if your puppy is really, really cold, you do need to set up a safe space. I hate that term. You need to set up an area for them where they do feel more comfortable. I would honestly, I mean, I didn't do this 20 years ago, but now we have such quick access to Amazon $30 green patches that last a month, so I would consider putting that out on my deck. Well, not my deck, because then they pee on your deck forever, but put that out, as close to the deck as possible, especially if there's some overhang from the house. And then put something on top of that, and then go outside, take that off, and let them pee there. And if you're talking about cold from like wind and things like that, try doing, and I know this is tough, especially with a Maltese, but hopefully you have a small enough crate, and try going out, every 15 to 20 minutes, until she pees, and then back in crate. So she gets 2 to 3 minutes to pee in an area that hopefully is grassy or dirt or something. Hopefully it's not snow, but she's doing that back in the crate for 15 to 20 minutes, out again, 2 to 3 minutes tops on leash in this area. Definitely beneficial to have it blocked off with a gate, or a playpen.
I had a couple clients go on Amazon and get those they look like trellis or something where it's got the plants and stuff. It blocks out what they can see outside of the pen. And it makes it a little bit easier for them to focus on what they're doing inside the pen.
That's super fancy. But part of this is preventing the habit of going inside. And so if I'm you, I might sacrifice, just short term, puppy pads by the back door. And I hate puppy pads. Yep. But if I'm in your situation, because I just imagine trying to train my little dog in Illinois right now where it's like snowy. And yeah, there would definitely be puppy pads by the back door. Now, in 6 years, might they try to sneak out there and go on the carpet? On the what is it called? The walking rug? My brain. Maybe, but it's like, you got to get over this hump and prevent them from going in the main part of your house. So look at it that way. So yeah, I think that's another thing I do. I might take that playpen or put the puppy on leash and do two to 4 puppy pads by the back door temporarily, but still do that crate rotation to try to build her ability to hold her pee. But if the reason I said her size is tough, because if the crate is too big, she's going to have an accident, and it's such a small dog. So yeah, you've definitely got some challenges. Try those things. I think you're on YouTube. I think you're a YouTube comment. Try those things, and please give us feedback back. All right.
Feedback back.
Feedback back. Can you see,
You didn't give a quick answer for this one.
S, M, or T? Okay.
The leash one?
The leash? Oh yeah, she wanted us to do the leash one.
How to get a puppy to stop biting his lead. We're on our third one. Oh, that's someone else commenting. Someone else is on their third one.
I need to know too. My puppy will start to chew on her leash. Nothing seems to stop her from it. We have a video on this on our online school.
We'll give a brief.
Yeah. So, well, there's a lot of different contexts. Like, when is it happening? Is it happening in your drag leash? Because if it's happening in your drag leash in the home, make sure you're getting cheap nylon leashes and you just tie another knot in it and you go about your day. Drag leashes should only be when the puppy is supervised. And, make sure you got some Kongs, like not soft plush toys in my opinion, but some Kongs and some other things out for your puppy to chew on if they're that much in a chewy mood. And then maybe look at ways to drain them more mentally. Usually puppies have enough physical activity, but not enough mental challenges to drain their energy. That combined with the Kong should really help that.
And soothing is also chewing is a soothing technique.
Thing, yeah.
So them chewing on the leash is actually them trying to soothe themselves. I'd try to switch it out for something else and give a couple squirts of bitter apple on the leash.
Yeah, that works for some dogs, definitely.
I do that for a preventative, but I'd also be ready to do something else as a reaction. Like not correction, but if the dog's chewing on it, I can do pull the leash away, insert toy, redirect focus. So now the leash is kind of sitting behind their leg, the toy is in front of them, and I might even hold it for a few minutes to make it more valuable. Sorry, you can't see my hand. I'm like moving it left to right to make it more valuable and engage. And I'm still at my computer doing my Zoom calls. And eventually I might even just set it down, leash attached to me, and puppy gets to chew it.
Now, I just realized, Amy, we don't have age. And in my head, I was thinking like 8, 9, 10-week-old puppies.
I was too. I had 12 weeks in my brain.
If we're dealing with like a 6, 7, 8-month-old puppy and or you're walking, with them, it's like pressure up right away, out and away from you, chill out. Like you need to calm down. And not enough to lift their front paws off the ground, but enough to make them kind of back off. I just did that with a 6-month-old Dalmatian, and she's very jumpy and pushy and testing her owners right now. So she'll actually jump up when the guy, not when I would do it, but when the guy would do it. And she'll just, again, to test him, and she jumps on him constantly. And then as she goes down into her sit or just back all fours on the ground, you go down, of course, too, if they're jumping as well as nipping at the lead. But you keep that pressure. Just martingale is great for this, for the older puppies, on the lead until you feel them settle. And if you're unsure, relax the lead. And if they go right back at you or to jump up on you or right back at the lead, you're right back on pressure again. Calm them down. Everybody take a breath. And then I want you to think, do they need more structured playtime or work time? And if you can't do that right now, put them in break time in crate where, you're not dealing with that stuff, because there might be a number of reasons why they're doing that. Could just, you're not doing anything wrong. Could just be they're being a puppy and testing you, but you can't handle it properly in the moment right then and there. So let's make sure we're giving our dogs the downtime and preventing these things from happening too. Okay, we're done. You done?
I'm done.
All right, guys. See you next week. Same time. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning into Ask a Puppy Trainer Show.
We hope you found some advice that you can use to help make puppyhood a little easier.
Don't forget to join us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Instagram or TikTok at The Puppy Academy.
This is where you can get a chance to ask your burning questions in real time. And if you want even more puppy guidance, visit our website at thepuppyacademy.com for info on joining our online puppy school.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review.
These reviews let more people find us and supports us on our mission to help as many puppy parents as possible around the globe.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.